All frucked up, making this video for July the 8th, 2025, which was the day I arrived home from Vegas, and I had a ton of stuff to take care of, so I didn't get these videos made. Any case, so yeah, this will be the video for day 65 on the sugar diet, but my approach has typically been wake up in the morning, visit the restroom, use the toilet, take a weight, get on the scale, get a weight reading. From there, it's pretty much like now I have permission to eat because I've got my scale reading for the day. So ideally there'd be a pint of water. After that, I had been doing 16-ounce Rockstar Energies. I'm more of a fan of the 16-ounce kombuchas. Have a pint of kombucha. That's just me. You could leave it at the water. You could have a coffee. If you're going to have a coffee, I'd recommend having it black. If you're going to have a tea, I would recommend it being unsweetened. But then, yeah, if you're going to have a meal for breakfast, and I think that's an important thing to do. Yeah, I mean, there's so many fruits to choose from, and I didn't shy away from having sweet potato for breakfast with the skin on for the fiber. Lunch, I still tried to adhere to a low-fat approach, and, at work, I would either go and get a Taco Bell black bean crunch wrap with light sour cream, because I'm trying to keep the fat low, and light queso cheese, again, to keep the fat low. That was just an easy thing for me to do, but if I took things to work, it was generally white rice, jasmine rice, and then just some seasoning on it, nothing crazy. And a lot of times I'd take sweet potatoes, so I could just microwave the sweet potato, eat it plain with the skin on. And then when I got home from work, it was typically more sweet potatoes, maybe some pretzels, lean meat if I was in the mood to have like turkey or sometimes chicken, and plenty of vegetables. I love my romaine lettuce, so you can hit that with any kind of topping you want as long as it's low in fat. So that pretty much rules out all the salad dressings because those are all soybean oil based, or primarily soybean oil based. So yeah, you can pretty much eat what you want throughout the day. Just keep the fat low, and that approach has served me well. Once upon a time, back in mid-May, I was just over 280 pounds. So I got down on the Vegas trip, I got down to 257.4. That was my low weight. But moving forward, the other approach I wanted to talk about in this video is the idea of getting up, getting your weigh in, handle that first thing, and then the day starts similarly, but you can actually eat in abundance if you're having lean protein and green vegetables. So leafy greens would be my choice. I wouldn't shy away from green beans or Brussels sprouts or whatever you want. But, you're really not going to overdo it with lean protein and green vegetables. And that's just my personal bias on the vegetables. You could probably have whatever kind of vegetables you wanted, but I know that the leafy greens are my favorite. And then the approach that I would take, again, this is low fat, low fat, low fat, always keeping the fat low. And keep in mind that with this new approach I'm going to take, it's more of a, not that I'm not going to consume the carbs, but it's going to be more about like the activity level. I'm going to tailor the carbohydrate intake to my activity level. So let's say I was going to hit the weight bench that I have over here across the basement. I would want to carb up for the muscle glycogen, for the energy being on tap. So before, during, and after the workout, because after the workout, I would be glycogen depleted. That's just the chains of sugar in the muscle. So my new approach is going to be, basically the same in the morning, similar midday, although I'm going to be adding more vegetables and lean protein in place of some of the starches I was having. And then I'll just carb up as appropriate for whatever my activity level is. And say I wasn't going to do anything that day. Say I was sitting in front of a computer all day long and I had more work to do in front of the computer in the evening. I'm not going to shy away from the carbohydrates because I think carbohydrates in the evening have always helped me sleep. So I shouldn't even say I think. I know that in my case, which could be highly individualized, carbohydrates help me sleep. And like the difference is noticeable. But if there was going to be an evening where the activity level was low, then I'd just kind of dabble with the carbohydrates. I wouldn't, be trying to knock back a whole bunch of carbs. So, yeah, the approach that I've currently been on, glass of water before bed, as much sleep as I can get, because we don't want to be underslept. Weigh in the morning after a trip to the bathroom, weigh in. And then my current approach has been, once I weigh in, it's like, okay, I've got permission to do almost whatever I want. The new approach will be very similar, a glass of water before I go to sleep, maximize sleep, get up, go to the bathroom, get on the scale, take a weight, and then more lean protein and green vegetables. In my case, green leafy vegetables or leafy green vegetables. And I really don't think you can overdo that. Because carbs are 4 calories per gram, protein's 4 calories per gram. When you're keeping the fat out of your diet, you're, instead of getting 9 calories per gram, and I'm not trying to make this a calorie talk, I'm simply pointing to the fact that you can have lean protein and vegetables in abundance, whatever suits your tastes. I don't think you're going to be able to overeat on those. Tailor your carbohydrate intake to your level of activity, and if you're not going to have a whole lot of activity, there's no point in slamming a bunch of carbohydrates. Except for your evening meal, you would want some level of carbohydrates in there for sleep. Again, not a dietitian. And it's been a long time since I played around with the lean protein and the leafy greens. But I had good success, rapid success on it before, and I think I need to incorporate some of that now, because just starch. It's not that it's getting old, it's just I think there's a better way. So I'm going to vet that out. It'll still be a low-fat diet. It's still going to have carbs. So it's still, in my mind, is somewhat similar to the sugar diet. It's just I'm not pounding soda and knocking back entire bags of candy. That's not really been my thing. I dabbled with it, yes. It didn't suit me. It didn't have good results. So right now, extremely low fat, still a plethora of carbohydrates that I'm eating, but going forward, I'm going to back off the carbs, ramp up the lean protein and the leafy greens. So hopefully that made sense. I know if you're wanting clear and concise, I probably talked a little too much, but yeah, just keep the fat low. Number one, that's first and foremost, keep the fat low. Keep the dietary fat low. And yeah, like undereat 3 days and then have food in abundance on the 4th. So we're not slowing down our basal metabolic rate. And yeah, make sure you get your sleep. So hope this video will help somebody, and hopefully if any more clarity is needed, assuming that I provided any clarity at all, if any more clarity is needed, just hit me up in the comments. So have a good night. See you.